Hey, welcome to this episode of Mark Menendez Bass TV. In this box is a lure not a lot of guys have used. One of my favorites, one of the coolest topwater soft plastics that you've ever seen. Catch us here. Watch see what we catch. No, let's just catch one on this thing. The Raid Shad.
This week has brought perfect topwater conditions for Mark. The water is smooth as glass, and the overcast sky is keeping the sun from peeking through. An extended morning bite should be in the works. Instead of a buzz bait or a walking bait, Mark has opted for an old school approach. His bait of choice has been around for years, but often overlooked by anglers.
This soft plastic bait, you can see that big rage flange on that tail. This is a spoon with a buzzbait tail that's a soft plastic. And to rig it, I'm using a Gamakatsu 5/0 extra wide gap. I don't use them often, but I have to use it here on this one. Slide it up, Texas rig it, just like that. You can see where that hook is going to go in right there. So I bend the bait back, stick the point of the hook right there where it was so it'll lay straight, come right out the top. And this is a bait that I don't Texas rig it, I just leave it exposed, so that's just perfect like that. Then this particular hook's got a little old metal clip that we put on it, but that's the bait. You're going to be amazed at how loud this bait is. This bait swims through the water like this with that tail buzzing. Let's get after it. First throw. That is a piece of plastic. That's not a buzz bait, but listen how loud that is. The coolest soft plastic bait I've ever used. It's called a Raid Shad, and when one gets it, they stomp it. I've got another topwater laying over here as a backup. I got a chugger over here, the old Splash, Strike King Splash, in a summer sexy, but we're here in the fall. Waters are cooling down, seeing some topwater activity. Saw some fish chasing bait a minute ago, some shad. This ought to be fun. See, I can pop it like a topwater bait. I can stop it. I can swim it slow. I can speed it up. A really, really cool bait. Fishing it with braided line, 50-pound, Cigar Smackdown, just because the strike is generally so outrageous when they get it. It's so quick, I've got to be lightning quick with it. But is that not the prettiest bait you've ever seen? That line bouncing back and forth, it just wobbles side to side. Out here in the middle of the creek right now, because this is where those fish were chasing some bait a minute ago. I hold my breath every time it comes by a piece of cover. It's going to explode here shortly, I promise. Too perfect. You know, in the fall, a good fish moved right up there, just a little ways in front of us there. In the fall, you've got this low light period in which you can fish some moving baits. And then as the sun comes up, they're going to stick tight to cover. So I'm going to have to fish something like a crankbait, a square bill, something like that, and or pitch or flip. But for this first hour of the morning, first couple hours, you should be able to catch them on surface. Look at that one take off. Got him. Oh, he came off. Dadgummit. Wow. Wow, that fish never stopped. It was a good bite, too. Doggone. Jeez, oh, Pete. Whew, get me started this morning. There was his brother right there. Got my tail. Doggone it. Don't think when you drive it over one's head, they're going to eat it? My goodness. Hell, I I can't even put this thing back together. That was two good ones. That was not the same fish. Just a slight bit behind the bait. He didn't really get it. Doggone. Oh, that'll wake you up in the morning. That'll wake you up. Let's see if there's a, we get that one to bite. Again. Whew. Jeez, oh Pete. Or two good ones. That was back-to-back throws on the same piece of cover. I mean, they meant to kill that thing.
Mark is trying to take advantage of the extended fall morning. He's covering every stick-up, tree, stump, and laydown with his rage shad. He's varied up his retrieves, but hasn't had much luck yet. Although he did get 2 blow-ups that resulted in 1 hookup, he didn't manage to land a bass in the boat. He's got a KVD splash as a backup.
Reach over there and throw a different topwater, just kind of as a backup. Throw a KVD splash over there and see what happens. That's what he wanted. He wanted it over his head. Look at that good one there. I mean, he has just swallowed it. That's a good bass right there. We may have discovered something. Come here, fella, I cannot get you. There we go. Think he got that one correctly? I mean, that's what he wanted. That is what he wanted. Let me grab some pliers here. There's something to get these hooks out of here. Well, we may have just a 1-2 punch here. That's old Summer Sexy in the fall for you. That's what color that one is. It's called Summer Sexy Shad. Isn't that beautiful? And that is a beautiful bass right there. Darn thing didn't want the rage shad. He came up and showed himself. One pop with the splash, and we're on the scoreboard. 1 cast. I like it like that. The water may not have cooled down enough for these fish to really commit to this moving bait. So I'm going to kind of use it as a search tool. Let them show themselves and come back with the KVD splash and keep it right over their heads, just like that last one. That last one was able to show himself, and then I put KVD splash on it, kept it right in his face long enough that he couldn't stand it. So we may have a 1-2 punch already. No matter what it is, that's just such good bites when they get it. Such good bites. Ultra shallow fall. They get as shallow as you can imagine in the fall. If you've got overcast, they even get shallower. Far enough that, like on the backs of the bays in Kentucky Lake, you can't hardly get a boat to them. One little piece of cover and they'll be on. One right there. Smoked a shad. Oh, of course, I got hooks tangled right when you don't need hooks tangled. I hear them blowing up. Got it. Delayed reaction there. Just don't want to jerk too fast with the top water plug. That little fella right there is just about the right size to get a hook in. I got it. Came up and got it. Notice how I do. Ooh, there's another one. We may be doing this all day with this splash. See, if they show themselves, I can keep the bait in an area where raid shad is a constant movement, and I'm moving it towards me all the time. This way I can just keep the top water popping. What a big one anyway. Always got to have a plan, a 1-2. Really love it when they kill that old raid shad. They absolutely stomp it when they get it, but it may just be a hint too warm for that still.
Alternating between the Rage Shad and KVD Splash has produced several strikes for Mark. It seems the fish are relating to horizontal cover in the water. Mark is using the Rage Shad to locate bass, then following it up with a slower, more methodical popping bait. He continues to target areas where he's seeing feeding fish activity near the bank and cover.
Bass will bleed you. I know what that was. That was a beautiful bite. I mean, that was pretty. He's kicking my behind, I can tell you that right now. It's that line thing. Oh, Gamakatsu got him coming around. I'm just kind of holding on right here, right now. Got him in the side of the mouth. That's why these super sharp hooks really help. Look there, he's got it in the corner of his mouth. I can't get him to open up. I'll just do it this way. How about that for another good one? Sports fans. Whoops, sorry there, camera. Wow, he just rolled up there and sharked it. Looked like a big old shark, big old green shark come over there and got him. How about that? Uh-huh. Is that not a healthy specimen right there? Beautiful fish. Beautiful, beautiful. That was a good bite. One thing that is of the utmost importance when fishing topwater is a really sharp hook. Now our Strike King baits come with really sharp hooks on them, but I go the extra mile and I've placed a number 4 round bend Gamakatsu on this splash. That fish right there just barely had it here, but when he turned, it wrapped and got him on the side of the face with that Gamakatsu, and that allowed me to get that fish. That fish just kind of sharked it. He didn't really just come up and get it like the first fish did, but that one sharked it. And without those extra sharp hooks, I might have missed that fish. Sharp hooks means more bass. Oh, that was a killer. My goodness. Oh, bless my heart. God, that old big hook's got him good too. What a cool bite that was. Right, that's how much line I had out right there. That's how much line I had. Look how he's got it right through the top. He tried to abscond with that. He just absolutely mashed that raid shad. That's the thing about it. It's the best bite ever. Gosh, that's a good one right there. Man, hit it right there at the end of the rod tip. Oh, get back on your little tree. There's a piece of wood horizontal in the water right here. That's what he came off of. Gosh, that's all the line I had right there. What an explosion. That's that bait. Raid shad. I know it was a good bite. They are so mad. They're just so mad when they hit this thing. And that 5/0 extra wide gap holds this bait in place. Perfect hooking point for the bait, and it gets them right there in this upper part of the face most of the time. Oh my goodness, I'm still blown away by that bite. That makes the whole trip worth it right there. Those kind of bites do. Good fish back there. Horizontal cover. That's the story of the day right here. Horizontal cover. In the fall, that's what I'm looking for.
Who doesn't love a good topwater strike? Today's been filled with plenty of blow-ups, a few misses, but also a few good bass. Typical fall weather makes this a fun pattern, but it seems that if Mark's bites are slowly starting to dwindle. Mark came prepared though, and looks to close out the day with a trusty go-to tactic.
You know, this is a pretty typical scenario in the fall. We got out here this morning, everything was still, it was flat, and they were chomping topwater pretty good. Now, I've got a little wind picked up. It's heating up during the day here a little bit. The wind's starting to move. And in this condition, with this much wind, it really forces those fish down in the water column a little bit. You'd think it'd help, and the wind's always your friend, but it changes where the fish are in the water column, and they've gotten down a little bit. So I'm gonna have to make an adjustment. And one of the things I always reach for is a square bill. You know, 1.5, get it down just a hint deeper. Just a hint deeper so that I can get to these fish that are now gonna probably start positioning on a piece of wood, or I heard a fish there. But I can still cover a lot of water and move pretty quick, so I'm gonna get it down in the water column and see what happens here. It's just a very typical thing that happens this time of year, and you've got to adjust. And that's what we're gonna attempt to do right here. That fish is on there. Oh, he came off, doggone it. Had me in a piece of wood. Doggone, that felt like a sure enough good one right there. Never did boil good though. A little fish showed himself, but that felt like a good fish. I felt him pump about twice. Notice I'm kind of keeping my rod tip up, just kind of twitching it a little bit, making it do erratic stuff. Just make it get goofy. Oh, heck, there we go. There we go. I thought one bit it. That's a good bass right there. He was on that isolated piece of cover. He wouldn't come up and get it. Came out there and bumped it. Ate it right there. He's got the whole darn scamoli. Good fish right there. Oh, I hate it when they do that, but he's got plug on him pretty good. He ate it sideways. I'll have to belly lift him. He's got hooks all in him. Come here, look at that. All right. Well, took a little change. Took a little change. You think he wanted it? Right across the face like that. And took a little adjustment, but a darn good fish. Fall fishing. Topwater. Splasher. Great shad. And then following it up with a square bill. Hey, I hope you've learned something today on how to adjust in the fall. Because you've got different conditions. We'll try to teach you more on the next episode of Mark Menendez Bass TV. Darn good one right there. Make another one right here. Kind of got up on it a little bit, but that's all right. That's what you get when you go back to back. Always make another cast. It wasn't the biggest, but you got another cast on there. Bass like to hang out together. Make multiple casts at that target.
Mark Menendez Bass TV is brought to you by Skeeter Boats, Seaguar, Lose, feel the difference, Strike King Lure Company, Motor Guide, never stop. Closed captioning provided by Die Safe.